like you said, that one little, I mean, a mistake in the first kilometer could cost you 15 seconds trying to get everything back together and get back into the flow and the rotation. So, yeah, very challenging. The teams that conquer the course today are definitely heads and tails above the rest of our team time trial squads on planet Earth right now because this one is a doozy.
100%. Now let's real quickly here. We do have a couple of things to cover. We'll get out on course splits. We'll be coming in just a moment for some of the first sections. We'll get right into some of the racing, but we wanted to definitely shout out to the success of WTRL and something new that they have launched just in the last couple of months. And now it has gone into season 2, the Zwift Duathlon League. Make sure to go ahead and head on over to WTRL.racing. League season 2 is out for registration at this point. So head on over to WTRL.racing if you're interested in doing some duathlon. We don't quite have swimming at this point. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know whether or not any kind of swimming is coming at all whatsoever. But we're just messing with you there on that one on the side of try.
Modify your hydro.
There we go.
Get your hydro. Yeah.
There we go. Get the hydro going. So, but Duathlon League, it's a thing. Make sure it happens. Starts next Wednesday. 35-minute bike, 10-minute transition, 15-minute run. Essentially, you've got a sprint duathlon going on full gas. Also, for the poster competition that I did, if you would like to jump into these each week, you can do so. Essentially, we've got the Dirty Chronicle keeping us up to date, though. And Tom and Jerry win it this week. Going to the beach is also an option, Dirt Diggler says. So obviously they're on board with it's summertime. Do they even try, Pete? We deserve a day at the beach after last week's performance. And then Pete Butler comes on in with Dad's Inside Riding Traders. TTT Secrets Volume 2. I need that tape.
I like this one. This one. It's got a cool vibe to it.
Yeah, order the book now and get a copy on 10 audio cassettes because that's how hip he is. I'm absolutely loving it. Absolutely loving it.
I think Martin gave a nod to I cannot believe I'm forgetting the cat's name. Tom and Jerry.
Tom and Jerry.
He's a fan, he said. So I was not aware of that. We learn a little something about Martin every broadcast.
I'm not a fan of Tom and Jerry. I mean, that's when I was.
I'm neutral. I'm neutral on Tom and Jerry.
I guess they are pretty violent. Tom and Jerry are pretty violent. They beat the crap out of each other. But I mean, anyways, I just have good memories of my brother. My brother probably didn't have good memories of me, though. So anyway, I was the older. Anyways, it's a definitely
different generation for sure.
Different generation, that's for sure. So let's just jump right down into B category. We are in, not B category, the frappes out there today. And I'm actually seeing an
I screwed you up
situation. You out pre-production. We had some conversation about who's out here.
A lot of letters getting thrown around. So it's our frappes, right? The Vienna frappes and the old mixed frappes. I like this. This is a high level of racing. This is a level that a lot of folks aspire to get to. So I'm glad that we're covering them today, Nathan. Racing out of the D pen.
Yeah, let's go ahead and jump right on in there. And this is interesting to see, though. We've got a dirt beast mode.
Wow.
Amalgamation going on here. I mean, this is one of the top.
That's the director. Teams. Yeah, that's the Premier League team director, Sebastian. That we
Sebastian's
are looking at.
out here. And then also, though, it's a little bit mixed here, right? So we've got De Vroomen, we've got Peter here coming on in from Dirt BC as well. Dirt HH is here. Rose Beastmos with Charlotte. So it's definitely a mixed team that's hammering away out here with men and women representing in this category amongst the frappes, which I think is pretty cool to see how they end up playing out amongst here. You know, I think a good call by them to mix it up here a little bit with the men and the women.
There's a lot to like
across
here.
Categories. Yeah, there's a huge breadth of talent, I think, here showing up.
And they look great. It's all Tron bikes. This is so for those that don't follow the Zwift Racing League, and WTRL is a massive part of that. This was a community team beast mode, all Germans, and I think I'm looking to see, are we all Germans? We're not. It looks like a little bit
No,
more of a mix today. So,
super
but
mixed.
yeah, that's actually a little bit of a surprise to me because typically it has been really dominated by the German nationality, which is fine either way. But they're a super organized team. They were really dominant. It was Europe, Middle East, and Africa East, wasn't it, Nathan, that they raced out of in the community? I believe so. Uh, and they were unbelievably strong in their first season in Premier. So Sebastian does a great job. This is one of the women on the team, Julia Shalau. She's a monster. This is so cool that they're doing this, Nathan. I am really stoked.
Yeah, pretty awesome that they jumped in with the TTT here, getting some practice and having a solid ride. 194 beats per minute currently coming from Julia as she sits on the wheels here, the German rider here.
Yikes.
Snowy here, Dirt BC out of South Africa right now on the back, 302 watts, looks like hanging on. No heart rate in there for him. So we don't got any kind of inside info to how much suffering is
It's
going
high.
on.
I'm going to guess it's high.
Gonna be high. Yeah, I'd agree with that one. NT on the front, a little bit of a pull, 332 as they come through at 42 kilometers per hour. Now, the splits are starting to come in. For those of you that are unfamiliar with what is happening out here with these splits, 8 kilometers, 16 kilometers, 24 kilometers for the day today. We'll be getting splits at 11:24 is the fastest time with Dirt Time Chasers. And I'm assuming that is going to be the team we are looking at here that's got a little bit of a mix between Beast Mode and Dirt out here. I think they're riding mainly under the Dirt brand and have a few guest riders out there today. Vikings Valgrind will be the next to come through, 12:18. You can see next to the names in the Frappe category, Dirt Time Chasers, and it has a 1.0, a 2.0, a 4.0, and etc. as we go on down. That is the start order that they went out in. Our third out on course perhaps did not make it on the day, or perhaps we need an update to some of the data there. We'll wait and see if that does come through. But Adam Racing Team Photons, we're waiting for them as they were the fourth out. And these are at 1 minute intervals. And there they are at 11:51, Dave.
Nice. Absolutely. So Dirt BC, let's give a shout out. Rob on this team, Paul Robertson, Neil Tucker, Peter Rosemond, Pim van Vroomen, and let's see. Actually, I am looking at Dirt. And now I'm seeing Sebastian as Dirt Beast mode. There we go. And finally, Snowy Pruitt. So this is quite an amalgamation that we've got here. I love that they came together. You can see it's nice to see sevens and eights there, Nathan. The team starting with if you're starting with 7, you're ahead of the curve out here this time of year.
Yeah, 7 and
See,
8 riders. I mean, there's Kirchner Frappe, I think the only team that is on the lower end of starters.
see them
only
with 5, right?
but coming in as the fastest team from last week. As you can see, the 10 next to their name, meaning that they were the team that had the fastest time to qualify for Platinum League. So we'll see if they can pull it off again with
Big
3
challenge for
less
them.
per rotation of riders. They have 3 less breaks essentially, depending on what
Right.
the times that they're taking their pulls at.
Yeah, your
My
turn.
team, it's 30 seconds, so that means a minute and a half less rest if it's 30 seconds per turn.
Yeah, your turn comes up really frequently, and it just mentally wears on you. Nathan, I would say we were talking about the course before we went on air. You called the climbs sharp. That is the perfect word, to tell you the truth, because as you can see, having an 8-rider team here, the little gap's opening up now, but 8 riders should really be able to pour it on these long flat sections. It's 315 total meters of climbing over the 2 laps of racing out here to make almost 33 kilometers of racing. Again, this is the UCI Worlds course, but we're doing it in reverse. And either way, it's going to be brutal. But I think reverse is even a little more challenging, to tell you the truth, as we look at a team that's so 8 riders, varying ability levels. This really defines mixing some teams, cross-pollinating different squads. They're doing a tremendous job. Sure, it's not perfect, but this is a really good job, Nathan, of keeping the team together. I mean, this is the full squadra, 8 riders, and they're just about through lap number 1 here. Very good job.
Yeah, amazing job by them. Zisan Saturn, the only team so far to come even close. Now, maybe with a little bit of you know, assistance here coming in through some of the mixing of here. I mean, 1124 is absolutely fine. And being the team with the lowest seed coming on in, perhaps getting a little bit of boost from a few of the riders that have jumped on in here because so far they have not really been challenged. 12 seconds is a pretty big gap in 8 kilometers. Z-Sun Saturn, the only team so far that's able to come anywhere close. Looking back at the Vikings now, though, as we do have this SJU here. All of these riders here coming out of Norway and looking pretty slick in their Vikings kit here. As you can see the chevron on the back as SSU goes to the back of the pack here to take his rest. On the front, pulling 5.5 with Nesset right now. Valgren for the Vikings, Valgren at 171 beats per minute. Pretty nice little setup here as well. I'm liking, I think he'd be getting now the sock game, not necessarily matching.
Not cool. Yeah.
Yeah. So, we saw the, I'm starting to get a feel for the Anna Russell standard.
The algorithm that runs through her brain. Absolutely. Socks are required.
The only thing I would say is that the socks across the team, though, are spot on. It looks like, except for one rider has green socks. It looks like. Oh no, I'm sorry, green, orange. They're not spot on. I thought they were all white.
So this is violating some really fundamental Anna Russell rules of cycling fashion. To tell you the truth, this is so. Again, anytime that you hear that there's 7 Vikings in formation anywhere near you, that sends shivers down most people's spine, right? But when you hear they're not wearing socks, all of a sudden things
they have white socks. I see white socks on, so you couldn't really see them. White socks, white gloves. Look, I am seeing Lithgow here as well.
And white
socks,
skin.
white gloves.
Yeah, it makes yeah.
But the rider I was mainly focusing on here, this rider, where is Nesset here with the black gloves? That was the violation I was looking at. White socks, black gloves.
So you need
whereas
to match
the rest
your socks
of
and gloves.
well, look at the rest of the riders. We got a white helmet, white shoes, white socks, white. I mean, all the
red gloves, white socks.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Where is he? I'm gonna see if I can get on. Kay Anderson, I think, would have won the Anna Russell orange bike.
Slick, yeah, clean,
white helmet,
crisp, yeah. Not trying too hard. He's angeled it out, white everything that he can, except for the required team kit. I'd have to say Anderson looks fantastic. Again, we're just having fun with this too. I think
at the same time, we're
Anna's serious. She's not having fun with this.
It's the real deal with Anna. I mean, she.
Oh yeah. As a matter of fact, Nathan? I think it was Zwift Insider where you could find Anna Russell's fashion because they were voting on jerseys. I saw the socks for Watts. There was a lot of the jerseys. Aeonian was in the mix too. So Anna picked those out. Go, if you aren't already a fan of Zwift Insider and you love Zwift, you will be once you check it out. Eric does an incredible job there. Sherpa Dave, Eric, Anna Russell, they got a great team.
Yeah, head on over to Zwift Insider. You can. I'm not sure voting's still open, but
it might have closed actually.
Yeah, you can head on over there and check out the competition and see how things have played out. It was a great little bit of fun with all of the fashion. And it'll be interesting to see. Just a shout out to all the teams that will be showing up this weekend in the playoffs. Playoffs are scheduled, obviously, as well as the broadcasts. And Anna will be on mic alongside me. And better show up with your fashion game strong. I mean, that may be more important than who actually qualifies.
You take the time to review where you're at with your fashion. Yeah.
It's win or lose, okay? So no messing around this weekend, everybody. You show up ready to rock, okay?
It's a big weekend for these teams, some of them looking to be promoted up into Premier. I'll be looking forward to watching those broadcasts. It's going to be incredible. A lot of work went into this season.
That's going to be very, very interesting, actually, to see who ends up. A lot of work, exactly, that has gone in all into this weekend for those A category riders looking to try and get, which will change everything about their racing on Zwift if they do get promoted.
Sure will.
It's a whole nother world you jump into in
Quantum leap, baby. Quantum leap, Nathan. But we were talking about beast mode earlier, that dirt time beast mode amalgamation that we had out there. I mean, there are plenty of community-based riders. There's a rider, Nathan, that we were talking about quite a bit, Nadia Gantova out of British Columbia. That boy, I had a chance to meet Matt Usborne, who's from where she is in British Columbia, saying she is going to be a phenomenal cyclist as she makes that transition from rowing. And we were talking about that, I think, in a previous WTRL broadcast about how rowers adapt to the world of Zwift incredibly quickly. There's so many parallels there. This is the ZSun R team, one of the all-time super squads. And I believe, Nathan, that we have two ZSuns, don't we, in the race here today? Saturn. So I'm seeing a ton of the Saturn riders here. And is Red Dwarfs racing with us, or am I making a mistake here? For
Perhaps there
some
was
reason,
a
I've
red
got
dwarf. There may be a red dwarf on Zwift Power that isn't in amongst this Z Sun, probably as a guest rider, because I'm not seeing red dwarf unless they were
Richard
that
Twig.
third. They might have been
Yeah,
that
so
third
Richard
team.
Twig so Liz Van Houweling racing here. That must
Really?
be a relation to world hour record holder or former world hour record holder Molly Van Houweling, the American. Um, Talented cyclist named Van Houweling out of America. Odds are decent here.
Yeah, pretty decent, I would think, for sure.
Joy
This is that
Murphy. So
section we
this is
were talking about, the Governor Street descent here, Dave, where
so
they get
fast.
up in the
Yeah.
70 kilometers per hour. This is going into their second lap already. Very fast time, actually. I was expecting times to be a little bit longer, but I guess it's just the sharp kicks. And then from there, pretty flat course. So 20, almost a sub 20 coming on through here from these riders. We're looking at 16 kilometers in, 22:12. Valgren there, 23:05 at the next time to come in. Z-Sun Saturn, though, not in with the time yet, but they could be challenging the Dirt Time Chasers. This is the team we're looking at right now. We're waiting for that time to come on through because they may be on the road to victory here if they were able to bring any time back from the Dirt Time Chasers. Again, Time Chasers, though, with some guest riders there from Beast Mode. Going to be a tough day to make it happen. We are seeing actually Adam Racing with the next time to come through at a 22:34. They're still within striking distance if they can hammer the second lap as Adam Racing Photons come through with a 22:34. Z-Sun just about to cross that threshold where we do get that time on in. And R3R ACDC 11:47, little ways back. Nice little battle here with Electric Experience Company. Last word, 2 seconds back from R3R ACDC. And then Evo Vortex followed up by Kirchner Frappe. Innovation Alien Horde, I think no show today.
I'm curious if Z-Sun R Saturn is going to narrow that gap there, as it really was only 12 seconds at that first check, Nathan. So it's going to be very interesting. This is the team that we're in with right now. This is the really rugged sector of the course that we're going through here. It's just body blow after body blow at this point. Adam Voss, one of the riders on this seat, that's Adam right there on the front, setting a nice tempo here, keeping the team together, trying to move as quickly as we can as a group. And it looks like they're going to start catching one of the Norwegian riders here as that rider has made it through one lap, which actually you're going to see teams really just starting to disintegrate out here on the second lap. Amazing to see Z-Sun R in perfect formation right now. Very well drilled team. I have a feeling, Nathan, they might be within 10 seconds here when we make this next check. Good race going on right now here in Richmond.
Yeah, amazing. And they, little ways off here. I thought they were going to bring back, I was with you there. They're going to bring some time back. Now, the climbs here, though, are going to be the sections they may be able to do something about here. 20 seconds.
Still only 20. Yeah.
Yeah, on this
bad.
Course, doable. 20 seconds, though.
Doable.
It's
Very
doable
doable
with an amazing back end of the ride, depending on what Dirt Time Chasers have reserved. I mean, when I'm on a course, though, bringing back 20 seconds, it is a phenomenal ride you need to have, and nothing can go wrong. And everything has to start clicking on a lot of different buttons need to start clicking. A lot of different cylinders need to start just popping off. And that is whether or not you're organized, whether or not the fitness or the body's feeling good, right? And a little bit of luck. You put those three together and you may be able to bring something back. Seb here looks like dropped off. So I have a feeling they're not messing around up ahead. They're saying we let go of
Yeah.
any dead weight at this point. No offense, Seb.
No, one of the most respected directors in the game there. It's impressive to see that he was able to make it through that first lap, but you're right. Everything you said, Nathan, I completely agree with. Third time chasers now, they put themselves in a position. We still have a long way to go, but it's their race to lose is a good way to look at it. They now can sort of just kind of focus in on what you were talking about, Nathan. Luck is out of your control. You can only ride one bicycle at a time. So you just need to stay within yourself at this point if you're on that dirt time chasers team. I was going to say, though, Nathan, that numbers game is going to matter through this next 10 minutes or so, where the riders being able to take a little bit less time on the front is that rotation then for Z-Sun. So a new split coming in. Look at this R3R ACDC in full effect as they move 1 second inside
Wow.
of the time from Z-Sun R Saturn there. Yeah, nice. So we got 3 teams within 20 seconds. Dirt Time Chasers is your leader with a 22-12,
What is going
22-31.
on with Photon? But I'm
Oh
a
my
little
gosh.
confused here. Simpson is
That's a drunk paper boy that we're
yeah, he
getting
needs
right there.
to like straighten the bike out here, buddy. I feel like we're cyclocrossing a little bit. But
Weird moment there. Yeah.
yeah, Hicks now, Kino, Poodles. We can see here. Sorry for interrupting. Go ahead, Dave, with the
Oh no, no,
discussion there.
you were right. That was certainly noteworthy. So I want to talk to the pictures here, Nathan, because 4 riders is the magic number. That's what you need to get a time. Okay, there we go. Thank you.
Well, the
Good.
Viking is actually coming through them, so they're having to go past the Viking. There's only 3 up there, and it's up to Latin
There's the.
or perhaps
They've got
Only
5, 6.
just barely. They almost lost a few. It looks like they're backing off enough, though. Well done, actually. Very well done. Looked like it was falling
Actually,
apart, but nope, not. It was not.
no, and they showed the Viking the rear door, so no Viking issue anymore. And they're
Oh,
back
Viking.
together as a strong group here, and they are just about up to 20K. It's so different looking at Libby Hill in reverse as they
I've got like
go
a great
flying,
commercial in my head, Dave, where like you're in your living room hanging out watching
trying to get rid of a
TV,
Viking.
and there's just a Viking on your couch with like an axe. Like yeah, someone comes over and they're like, "What's going on?"
He's got
Well,
wet boots.
we've had this
Yeah.
Viking issue for a while. We've tried to show him the back
Sounds like a
door.
Geico ad. It sounds like
He's
an
not- he's
insurance
not-
company ad.
We
Yeah.
can't get rid of the Viking. I don't know what's going. He's just been hanging around. So I don't know if you have. I've had this Viking issue.
Tell you what, you're going to want to channel your inner Viking right now because trying to close down these gaps is brutal. We got 2 riders here fighting, Nathan. Now, the team has to make a call at, oh boy, you're looking at almost 14. Well, let's call it 13K of racing here. They're going to wait.
Yeah,
So
and the waiting at this point isn't huge. Like, really, all these guys need to do is kick it up just
cost you
tad
half
at
a
the
second or a
front.
second.
Yeah, because at the front, they're not really slowing down too much. And if they are, they made a mistake because you see how quickly that actually came back.
Agreed.
So, no, you can see now in the front, Hoodles didn't slow down. He just went and took his pole. The rest came back pretty easily. Bam, they're right up back on board. The only thing here is a little gap did open up between a few of the riders here. This gets shut down pretty quickly. Kino here, the reality is it's really his pole at this point. That's if you look at the images here and what's happening, Kino's actually the one pulling the group now. And Hoodles is going to go to the back, and his pole is pretty much going to be done by the second that he actually gets back on terms with all this. And now the order restarts. But, they're still having a great ride here, 22:34. They are in contention for second place. It's only 3 seconds between the top. I mean, look at it. Wow, fifth even.
If things go their way.
This is anybody's race for second place.
I would even, so I agree on that. I would even say that first place isn't out of the question if Dirt Time Chasers falter in any way. If they can stay on the rivet and stay focused, yeah, they're in pretty good shape. But this is going to be really fun to watch, and that's why you keep the bit between your teeth and keep charging. ART Photons, it hasn't been pretty, hasn't been textbook. They have muscled their way through the race at this point. And it looks like they are starting to find that rhythm now, Nathan. So I like this. I really do. The fact that these guys are keeping their head above water here, stay and just continually trying to refine their craft. And they're starting to pick up some momentum here. Let's see what they can do. Good job to the Photons.
Moving our way back a little bit here, we are in with Toyo, Raymond, Ruff, Joy, Oruk. Oh, another Z Sun team. I think we're missing one Z Sun team from the
I agree.
board here at this point. So, because I was
I
told that
think
the
we have
Red
Saturn.
Dwarfs is what
Yeah,
we were looking at
exactly.
before, and now this is looking at Saturn. So we'll see if we can get some updates on the boards here. I do see some information coming through from productions, probably to let us know exactly what's going on there. So let's go ahead and head on through though and see how this is playing out for Saturn. It is only 1 second. They are in a battle, very heated battle here right now with the team that they see behind them, which is going to be R3R ACDC. It is only a 1 second difference. They're also chasing the Photons, who are only 2 seconds off their time as well. The Photons have started to climb, so that 38 seconds. Oh, they have not started to climb actually. So since the last check here, Z-Sun may have brought back a good amount of time, actually. This Saturn team may be absolutely flying. If there's any team at this point I'd be watching out for, mainly because either Photon faltered a lot or Z-Sun are on fire. It's one of those two. And because that 20 seconds is a very big difference than what I'm seeing in that 16-kilometer mark. And that's only over the climbs. So did Z-Sun just demolish the climbs, or did Adam falter? We'll have to wait and see. But I think those time
Little of
differences at
both,
24
maybe?
are going to be very different because both these teams are on flats at this point, and that 1 second difference between, or 1 minute difference between them is definitely not 1 minute any longer. It's only about 22 seconds here, Dave.
Yeah, agreed. So this is a challenging course. Again, it's about 32 and a half, a little, well, let's just call it under 33, to tell you the truth, kilometers of racing out here. So most of these teams are coming up on that 10K to go point. But yeah, this one really starts to unravel the teams here at this point. What a battle. That's Z Sun R that we're looking at here now, the white and red shorts. Very, very familiar. This is one of the world's most popular teams without any doubt. Let's see who we've got here now. James Austin is the rider that we're looking at.
Interesting.
Right up on
Rook
the.
in that Moore kit. I want to know what's going on there. Like what's happening there, Rook? Why are we hanging out in the non Z Sun? Is he the team leader? Um
I'm going to say, yeah, probably just a little slow on the download, maybe.
slow on the down. What does that even mean?
I don't know. I don't know.
He needs to check his internet for a better
Yeah.
for a better jersey. If you ever have problems
They
getting the
tried to
right
send it to
jersey,
him. Yeah.
do an internet speed check. at
Restart
home.
your
Just-
internet. Yeah. That's my pro tip of the day.
Sorry, that one was just too good. That was just restart
We get
your
some
internet.
gems around here. You know how it goes, Nathan.
Do an internet speed check for a jersey and game. Okay.
I was trying to cut him some slack.
Back to the download with Stevie Stewarty. We've got R3R. This is the ACDC bringing the thunder to the course right now because they are in the hunt right now for second place overall. 22:31. They were the second fastest team, trying to bring back the time from Dirt Time Chasers BC. We'll see them cross the line pretty soon, I think, here. And I think that's a battle. And I think Stevie is on fire. 5.0, 180. This guy,
Aye, aye, aye.
he's
Stevie
dropping
Carson.
the team even.
Yeah, Stevie Carson's one of the Scottish riders. There's actually three on the team, Brian Lafferty and Stuart Bullock, the other. They've got the Dutch rider Rob Kuenen, then three riders from the United Kingdom, then Dan Hiskey, Dean Pocock, Richard Vale, and Rob Kuenen. So I mentioned Rob already. He's not from the UK, he's from Holland. So that's R3R. Race, ride, raise. They do a tremendous job. Those colors always remind me of World Bicycle Relief, who they've heavily invested themselves in supporting over the years. So good job, R3R. One of the first teams I remember when I first started commentating on esports that I was able to kind of identify with our shared love of World Bicycle Relief. So good to see them out here doing well today. Again, Stevie, the rider that we're in with here, is Stevie Carson.
Yeah, that's
Taking a big pull, Nathan.
I think, harken all the way back to traveling around with the Zwift Tour of North America, even, I would think, because
Sure,
they were
sure.
involved even at that point, maybe in a different rendition. I'm not sure that this specific kit was in game, but there was definitely World Bicycle Relief involved in huge ways at that point. I remember bringing yourself into some of our early productions, actually coming out of
Very
Colorado.
fun.
So yeah, tons of stuff with this team that's been going on for many years. Always great to see them out on course, and it looks like they are coming in with a very solid times
Seven
here so far.
seven riders together, Nathan. That's a good
Yeah, at
sign
this
for
point
sure.
too, with that much climbing, that means there's a lot of well, Stevie though, man, geesh,
Got to
he just
stall the
took that
bean,
whole climb.
Stevie.
He took
Yep.
that whole climb on solo, even gapped the riders. Neil's like, come on now, comes on through. Now
Either way,
the question here at this point though, are there any watts for after the climb? You have to keep the speed, right? Neil goes to the front, 174. Looks like there is something there, 4.7. Stevie jumping back on. Ooh, a little bit too much there as he kicks through. He's going to kind of give some elbows, it looks like. Neil up
so
the front a little bit.
Martin did a little research for us. Thank you, Martin. And uh, confirming the Red Dwarfs are racing. Well, they have 4 A's on the team, so they're on the espresso board today. But uh, that explains it. Where the Red Dwarfs are, they're fine, alive and well, racing
Okay.
espressos.
Well, we saw them. We actually saw them on course. Hopefully they're alive. They're out here.
I
But
assume they are. Yeah,
I'm assuming that they're
this is
pedaling
a
their
tough
bikes.
course now.
It
You
is.
don't want to
Maybe they're
forget
not.
Richmond.
There's a couple
Yeah,
that might
I don't
not
know
be.
that they're
I mean,
well.
oh
Yeah,
man. I mean,
that could be overstating things in a major way. You're going to be hurting at this point. 25K into a 33K team time trial. Now this is going to be into the finale for these teams. R3R just lighting it up at this
3402, Dave.
point.
3402 just came in 5 seconds back from Red Sun, Z Sun
Nice
Saturn.
job.
So it's right there. It's still second on the board at this point into the flatter sections. Dirt time chasers, though, I think.
You made that point, or you were right, Nathan. They're in a league of their own out here today, talking about dirt time chasers. So it is a race for second, I would say. You never do
Look
know,
at the
but
smoothness, too. Maybe Seb's in their ears. I mean, look, you can see the moment I clicked here, I could see the difference. Like in
it looks Premier League, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, there's just a certain amount of straight line. Even the riders who are overlapping, they don't overlap in a way that looks like it's budging too much. The speed is just a little bit higher where things become not as junkated. You don't have this.
There's more of a flow.
Yeah,
right?
just much more flow. Because when you have that high speed on the front continually, there's no confusion about who should be there then too. It's just really obvious, and you can just see it here in the way that this team is flowing down the course. It becomes really, and you start to pick up on it as you get familiar with TTTs and watching them over and over again. You kind of see this different dynamic play out, where it looks a little bit more like a fluid dance versus somebody who needs to learn how to waltz still. So
I completely agree with that. It just looks like they're in their natural state. This is, again, the dirt team that is on their way to a gold medal winning ride. If they can hold on here for another 3K, I have every reason in the world to believe in them, as they are hightailing their way around Richmond right now.
yeah,
It's
30.8
a satisfying
in.
win.
42, 33, 50 kilometers per hour into the final straight. And if this were a
Wow.
scratch race right
They
now,
are
you'd see nothing
moving.
but setting up for an insanity sprint. We've seen plenty of them here. That's not what we're going to see now. We're going to see nothing but how much speed can we gain on a downhill section.
52K is what they were hitting on that flat section about 300 meters earlier here. 52K per hour. That is what you're going to see in the Dopios, I would imagine. That's flying.
Absolutely flying. Absolutely flying. Solid result here coming in for them, and about to cross the line here in just a moment. Letting one rider go. Snowy. No, Snowy's going to jump back on terms here, and it's a sprint to the line. All they need is 4. Need to start standing up into the orange numbers at this point. Did they waste too many matches early on to even be able to do so? We're only seeing 164, 165. I have a feeling perhaps even holding back a little bit. The rider here coming out of the UK, Peter now for 6.2 as it's about to be stand up time. You can see almost in the distance. There is the finish banner, and to the front, Peter now starting into
This
5.5 watts per kilogram.
So, and this is where that rider on the front, if he starts sprinting and you can get in that slipstream and try to surf it, you might be able to squeeze out another second, but they don't even need it, Nathan, to tell you the truth. They've got a solid ride behind them here. So just keep the accelerator down on the floorboard. They're already moving into their finale mode now. This was a heck of a ride. So I'm glad that we got to cover our frappes out here today, as they're going to put paid out here. And this one was a sweet one.
Yeah, Snowy now into second. It looks like the first four for the time 44:21. It looks like is what we're coming on through with across the line there, and that may be their real time actually, as they were the first ones to go. I mean, actually, there's a little bit of there's always a 1 minute delay even to the first first riders out. Actually, they don't go at the go. And for those that don't know, the reason that happens is just in case anybody slipped into, well, early on the reason was, now that we do have each event has its own special link and special sign up and everything, but early on the reason for that in WTRL was because these were public events for a long time, and we just have random people show up and not knowing it was
Just
a
decide to ride.
TTT, and just to do a race, right? Oh, there's an event, it's this thing, and I guess maybe I don't know what it means by a time trial, and they jump in. And you knew who wasn't a part of the event for everybody who, when the banner drops, went boom and took off like it was a regular race. Like, oh,
It was
see
a
you later,
trick.
guys. Yeah, okay, have fun. It has nothing to do with it. And everyone else just sits there. Imagine showing up to that race in Zwift and you're like, what? Why didn't anybody go? Like, and you're like three people hammering away, like super confused. Like, what's the plan here? Always thought that it was pretty funny early on when we first started getting involved with the TTT. The Vikings Valgren now coming to the line. They've had a solid ride out here today. 34:52. Good ways back. 8th place currently. We'll see if they were to bring back anything on the day, though. They were the second lowest seed. And, I mean, the reality of what the Dirt Time Chasers brought to the board out here today, really knocked the doors off from what we've seen from them in the past, with a little bit of added strength to the roster now. But Valgren now 4.6 on the front. They're separating a little bit, it looks like, Dave.
Yeah. You know, when you look at it, Nathan, every other team, if you take the Dirt Time Chasers out of the equation, is within a minute of each other. So a very close competitive race out here. 5 riders. That's going to be okay, as they're going to bring it back together here. They don't have that much further until they hit the finish line. Just open up the throttle at this point as the Norwegians are charging. You can see the arch, the orange arch right there, as that finish gantry will mean that you are done and dusted. What a sweet feeling. And they're going to get that time off of the 4th rider on the yellow. Well, maybe not. Things are going to shuffle up a little bit here, as that's going to be it. Boy, the lactic acid now just completely pooling in your legs. This is a sweet moment. That huge effort is now behind you. Sub 46 minutes. 4 riders for Z-Sun R here.
Z-Sun R coming to the line. Goodall 4.4 for 5.0 actually. As Stew Chicken, is that actually supposed to be Stew Chicken, or is it Two Chicken? I think it's Stew Chicken. And then coming to the line with the what did we call this? The cheese grater hat? Is that what somebody was calling it?
Yeah, I didn't know what that meant. Cheesemonger, I think.
Oh,
I think it's just what maybe the classic cheese salesperson
I just think of
in
the
England
movie
must wear a hat like
Newsies.
that.
Like, now is the time to seize the
Right.
day is what goes through my head when I see that. But
I'm picking up what you're putting down there.
yeah.
This is the photons that we're looking at now.
Batman singing and dancing on the. No. All right. Anyone who gets that one, please comment in chat. Hicks now, Keno, Hoodles, and Simpson. 4 riders left for the Photons. We thought they were struggling a little bit, but no, 34-18. They're still holding on to a solid 4th place in a battle directly with Electric Spirit Company. We'll move our way backwards here as they
Isn't that a great
come
name?
through. Oh, it's such a great
Electric.
name.
Yeah, it's one of my favorites. I don't know where it came from or what it
I feel
references.
like I'm
but
like hanging out with my kids though. There was like a Spirit
the
Company
Electric
show.
Company.
Electric, yeah, there
Electric
was like
Company. Right.
yeah, which was a great show that my kids and I watched all the
Yeah.
time.
It's old
Look at
enough
one
that
of the
I
one of the
watched it.
one of
So,
the best show. Well, there was a remake of it, Dave. There was a
uh,
remake of it that came out in the last uh
they
15
probably needed
years.
to update it since computers were invented and
Yes,
stuff, right?
yes,
Yeah.
exactly, exactly, yes. But it was a great, great show, and it definitely that name definitely makes. Oh, these are. I wonder what's going on there. Actually, if there's any relation whatsoever, or even a
I
shout out that's coming from them.
We'll find out. That's the beauty of the socials. This is a strong R3R team that we're looking at here. Hiskey is the rider that we're in with. Not many teams are going to finish with 6 today.
I've got a question coming on in from TR Place. Is Tron or Venge with 858s? I would go with the Venge with 858s. Personally, there may be climbing here, but it is sharp and it is over quickly. And the downhills and the draft are going to be super important on the sections with the speed. You actually get a lot of speed
So
with the weight.
much. So much of the
So
race is doing exactly this right here, where that the Venge with the disc is going to be an advantage, no doubt.
yeah, that's just me though. I mean, I'm a big fan of the Venge with the disc, and I also think that technique in a TTT is so incredibly important. And if you've got good technique, you get a lot of payoff from that bike. A lot of payoff from that bike. So, um,
This
good
bike is a
technique in a
weapon, to tell you
TTT.
the truth.
It really is. It really is. 4
So
riders
this is
left with
the
Electric Spirit Company here, Dave.
yeah. Boy, they went with the Tron option. Actually, little mix here, but Electric Spirit Company, they're going to have a good ride today for only 4 riders here at this point. It's got to be satisfying. I mean, they were tied with Adam Racing Team, the Photons, there at that last check. So every little bit is going to matter. They're galloping now.
Yeah, solid
This
ride here
last
coming on
K.
in from this team, and they are in at 5th place here, 34-18. This is a 3-way tie currently. Kirchmer Frappe, Electric Spirit Company, Adam Racing Team, all going to be decided here in this final kilometer, because at that 24-kilometer mark, we had a direct 3-way tie. You'd think on this course
It's
that those
crazy.
climbs would
Yeah.
separate things a little bit more. Nope,
Would
not
you?
today here. Absolutely amazing to see the parity between these teams.
Like those times are what you'd expect to see on Tempest Fugit, right? Where on the first lap, a bunch of teams on the same second. Not out here today. I completely agree. That is bananas. Shows you how
Yeah.
evenly matched these teams are, the parity, and how great of a job WTRL does of getting the right teams in the right class. This is Frappe class Electric Spirit Company finishing up.
Just coming across the line now,
And
another team that we
looks like
definitely want to give a
Evo.
shout out to. Ride with Peter, hammering away with their hashtag in there for Peter, who recently had a horrible accident, and everybody out there supporting Peter
They
for
love, I
sure.
mean, Peter has unbelievable support. So, and that continues, Peter. So stay strong, my friend.
Definitely a Brian to the front here, showing that support up into the orange numbers here. 7.2 watts per kilogram now coming from the Irishman. Now, Den Mead now grabbing the wheel just barely. It looks like as it's going to be the lead out train. S6 cramp. He's having 6 cramps in his 2 legs. Looks like as the British
That's
rider
6
now.
cramps too many, I would say.
And Bainan now going to be the rider, perhaps lead things out, though, as he pumps up in the 5.9. Last little kick. 4 riders are going to be the ones. The rest can drop off. They're still going to get their work out there, as it's also going to be Calbertode coming out of Germany. The last team I would think that we're going to be covering out here today is going to be KC. They were the fastest from last week, but they are the riders that were in a battle with the Electric Spirit Company and Adam Racing. As we get results, and we'll let you know how that ended up playing out. But third time chasers, I think they were unassailable. I'm not sure we're going to see a whole lot of difference in that top spot once we get the results in. We will be jumping over to the women's racing here, as they are out on course. They are about 14 minutes into their race at this point. Well, about 20 minutes actually for a couple of them. The vegan bees are the team currently leading things out. The first ones, I think, to jump out on course. And they've actually got a pretty sick looking kit with some green Tron bikes. So we'll jump over there in just a moment as we watch Kirchner finish up. As Kirchner does finish up, we'll also be bringing in results quickly here also for the men's race, just to give people idea, especially with that 34-18, how things ended up playing out. Always super interesting to see quickly when we do that. One thing I do want to highlight as well, um, for the was there any course records here? I'm gonna see if we can figure that one out for everybody here because
This was the Kirkmeyer team that started with 5 riders out here. And you can see, Nathan, that they're one of the teams that could find the top 3. Huge effort here. Kirkmeyer Nation, it's mostly Germans, Austrians, and a Swiss rider or 2 in the mix. I can't wait to see how they did. If they found the top 3 today, that deserves a special note.
yeah, absolutely. If they did, especially with that, only starting with I believe it's 5 riders out
5.
there today.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty amazing out there with them. Let's go ahead and
It's
jump
kind of
on
course,
in.
though. Like if you had 5 riders who could get up those climbs okay, you might not have been that handicapped as they were proving out there by starting with 5 versus the 8. I'd rather start with 5 good riders than 8, where a few of them were marginal, because you're going to have to say goodbye to them pretty early on the first lap. Jumping in with the women, as Nathan noted, the Vegan Bees look fantastic here on their Tron bikes.
Definitely 13.54 coming in from the Vegan Bees. Z-Sun Pluto's out there with a 14-minute flat. Sox Watts Odd Socks 13.16 battling with a lot of our favorites out here today. Crush Pod, Evo Combo, community favorites as well. And in the Odd Socks, we've got some talent though. I mean, the name Despas rings a bell. Thorvalson,
Jane Despas, yeah.
Watts, here up
Donna
Madsen.
Watts, holy cow,
I mean,
yeah, this
what
is
is
a nice little
happening here
lineup.
with the Odd Socks hammering away, but they've got Crush Pod on their heels. This is not a said and done showing
great.
up with this talent. Yeah, I like this battle that we see playing out for the top spot. Evo Comets are only 10 seconds behind Crush Pods. They could be an upset on the day between these two teams. This would be a great battle to watch play out as they get through their second half of the race.
I couldn't agree more, Nathan. Let's take a look. I'm going to start with this will give us a great chance. So, again, moving over to the women's race, same course, 315 meters of climbing over 2 laps out here on the Richmond reverse. It about 32-ish Ks of racing. The team we're in with, Socks for Watts, is a legendary squad. We were talking about Anna Russell. This is one of the jerseys that made it into the final vote for Jersey of the Year, I'm calling it. Anna Oxley, Donna Watts, Isla Isto, Jane Despas, Sally White, and Vicky Sultana make up this team. Again, like Z-Sun earlier, this is a brand. There are literally at this point hundreds of women that race under the colors of Socks for Watts. Their jersey in game now. The team had great success in the Zwift Racing League, and this is one of our all-time favorite teams. James Eastwood does an amazing job with Socks for Watts. Incredibly inclusive, teams at all the different levels. And this is Madsen that we're looking at, Leah Thorvalson.
Look at the selection. Thorvalson, I mean, she's got the Venge 858. Thank you so much, Leah, for verifying she's got a good taste in bikes and cookies. Well, they're not calling them cookies though in her reviews. What are they even calling them?
Biscuits.
Biscuits. What? No,
it's like chips and chips and crisps. They call cookies biscuits.
French fries, you mean? You mean French fries? I'm not sure.
French fries would be right. Would be chips, not crisps, which are chips. It's a crazy world, isn't it?
I don't even know what you just said, to be honest.
Words.
I'm not even sure. I'm not even sure what you were referencing to any one of those times. Like I know all
fried
of the
potato
things in
products,
the real world. Fried potato products. Gotcha. Sugary donut-y type. Well, no, not donut-y. Sugary baked goods is what we're talking about with Leah Thorvalson right now.
High caloric. Yeah.
Recovery. No, it's all about the Venge with the 858s.
So it's interesting. I am not seeing one of the I would have to say, superstars of Zwift, Leah Thorvaldsen, on my start list here. I'm in the women's race and I'm looking at the D group here. And oh, you know what? No, I thought I might find her at the bottom. I am not. So
At
I
the
apologize for
bottom.
leaving
Nobody
Leah
puts
out
baby in the
earlier.
corner. So, okay. Looking through, we'll see if we can find what's happening there over on Joe Power. But either way, she's out on
Why are you
top.
referencing Dirty Dancing there, the baby in a corner? Is that a Leah Thorvaldsen thing?
No, it's just it was just that you put her at the bottom. So it's
Oh, oh, that's
Crush
funny.
Pod trying to chase him down. I'm not sure it's going to happen. The gap is opening up. 116 at this point. Lascelles trying to make it happen. Strauber, Graham, Chedburn, Newell, all on team here. 5 riders left. Now, between them, 8 starting with the Ad Sox, Crush Pod with 5, and keeping it within 4 seconds at the first 8 kilometer mark. It's gone out to, it looks like 17 at this point. Still a very solid ride. They've got a lot of work cut out for them. As you can see, 2.7 at the front here now at this point. I think Strauber's probably going to come through at 5 plus. This is going to be the strength, I think, of the team in a lot of ways here, coming from Caroline, the German rider. Super strong rider, always a rider to be watching out for. We've seen her across Swift Racing League, WTRL, TTT. Very strong, always a highlight of the team, and always kind of on the front like this, saying, come on, grab a wheel, and pulling things along. Bringing some time back as Odd Sox only 3.2. See if they can keep it within striking distance. But as we come through the 16 kilometer mark, it may uh, tell a different story. We'll have to wait and see. Evo Comet's another team to be watching out for today, too. Looks like Donna Watts did get dropped off. So I don't think Odd Sox are waiting for anybody today. Evo, though, they're another team that are still in the conversation. They're only 6 seconds behind, as we can see on the riders nearby list. As we see 106 there from Crush Pod as I go back forward to them. 105, 106.
Oh,
It keeps within about a minute here at this point, which means they have maybe brought some time back, actually. And we may see a very, very close race between Crush Pod and Evo. Sox Watts, Odd Sox. I have a feeling they may be gaining, though, on everybody on the day.
wow. Crush Pod only 4 seconds off of the fast time set by Sox for Watts. They're at check number 1. Holy cow. Great ride from Amy McQueen, Joe Graham, Joanne Ernst, Caroline Strasser, who we were just talking about a moment ago, Kate Lascelles, and Lara Newell, along with Lauren Chedburn. I am going to do some research as what flag is Lara racing under there, Nathan? First off, that's a beautiful flag, and I'm just going to admit I don't know. Looking at that, though, it almost has. I'm leaning towards Africa as a nation, as the continent for that flag.
Nice job, Zimbabwe.
Zimbabwe,
Zimbabwe.
nice,
Where Laura Newell's coming out of.
good for her. That's extremely cool to see. I don't. Have you seen Zimbabwe before? I'm sure we have. Actually,
One time, I think, with Laura, perhaps
it
one
might have
time
been Laura,
before.
right?
Yeah, one time
Yeah.
before, I think, with Laura. So, Crush Pod.
And Lauren Chedburn is the other rider, Nathan, the Scottish rider on Evolution, aka Evo, that we've got out here. Their men's team. We were just highlighting Peter's comeback that's underway and all the support that he's getting. You can see that. Hashtag ride with Peter. They are rolling. Good job here, ladies.
Yeah, Amanda
Again,
Mallet,
Evo.
Annie Goodall, and Met Rasmussen, the rider we're looking at right now out of Denmark here. Cat High Peak Cycle. I'm not sure High Peak Cycle is the last name there, but it is going to be Cat there, followed up by Sarah Kirby. And Timia, this name is going to.
Said Hagee.
Nice job. What nice job coming out of Hungary. That was well done. But they put a lot of consonants together. Nathan struggles.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a
I think
tricky
that's
one.
right. So Hagee, that's about as that was super solid there. Tamaya, nice job here coming through at level 42 Zwifter. Riding for Evo Evolution. She, from what I'm seeing here, long time rider. Well, interesting. Wait a second. Is this gonna be right? I was gonna say rider for maybe a late register to Zwift Power because she is a level 42, but the first group ride or race type effort we've seen from her on Zwift Power is back on January 10th of this year.
I believe it. I could complete. I mean, you never know when someone is going to catch the bug and decide to race. You know that good for her.
Yeah,
Starting
amazing.
racing as a level 40 plus is unique for sure, but not unheard of.
On the front for just a moment, here's the rider we're talking about. So Hagee here, 155 beats per minute, 260 watts right now. The only thing is she is wearing a visor. So, yeah. Dave doesn't know.
Now, somewhere, well,
Visors are a major issue, okay? Just so you know, and the socks are short. So, I mean, I think perhaps she's playing tennis. I mean, this looks like it's time to play tennis. It doesn't look like we're out for a bike ride.
I'm just worried about backlash from the pro visor people, so I'm just going to kind of keep my opinions to myself. You know what I mean? There's got to be a visor lobby that's hearing about this. It's only a matter of time until they come after Anna.
Yeah, well, who put the visor in game? I mean, whoever put the visor in game is
that person, right? And we have a colleague, Kim Little, who loves the visor, and I'm
he
sure
wears
that
it in his
taken,
garage. He wears it in
right,
his garage while racing.
while
Zwift.
Zwifting.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that
and he predates Anna Russell by like centuries.
A while.
So, I mean,
yeah. So
I don't know, Anna. I'm gonna have to put it out there. Kim Little.
You will face some resistance here, Anna.
No,
I'm telling you.
That's the ace of spades right there. Absolutely. Kim Little, first UK national champion, wearing a visor. I'm not sure the New Zealand can handle it. So.
Kim, a colleague of ours as well at Zwift, does a ton of work on the ZRL broadcast.
People. The crazy thing is how long. To me, you mentioned the name Kim Little, and I'm like, first UK national champion, part of every single one of the early broadcasts. But we're at a point that we've got so much history of Zwift racing at this point. All of the viewers, we could be at a point where all of the viewers don't know what I'm talking about. And
it's crazy, isn't it?
Isn't that amazing?
Well, and someone the other day referenced you can go on you know what it was? The Zwift cast with yourself and Simon and GP Llama that I was listening to, where the Llama mentioned that somewhere on YouTube you could go back and watch those original races. Was it Las Vegas that you went to? That was before my time, that's for sure. But there was definitely the genesis of all of this. There was
Kim Little was there. Ernst Templar, Justin Purificati, who still races Premier Division at this point, I believe. He won that race against GP.
Did you race? You did, right?
No, I was commentating. I actually helped organize the event. Yeah. So, but
the Llama raced though.
Did the Llama raced? It was Llama versus Purificati to the line on this course, other direction, in a sprint. Because Purificati broke away. Purificati broke away on Governor Street with 1 lap to go, got a gap. Everybody thought it'd be coming back. And then he held on to the line. Llama launched with like 500 to go and almost caught him. It was so close, we needed a photo finish.
Sounds incredible.
It was insane. It was absolutely insane. And it was one of the best moments that we'd had up until that point. International field. Daniel Schmid-Heine, Ernst Templar, Quentin LaFay, Kim Little. It was a pretty amazing GP Llama, amazing race, very international race for sure. Some of the riders actually coming out of that ended up with pro contracts. I think 1 or 2 riders in real life coming off of the back end of those results as well.
And this is 2016? 15?
16 or 17. I have to go back and look, actually. Apologies on that.
So about 5 years ago. Look how much things have changed. This course used in the 2015 World Championships is incredibly popular with the hardcore racing set. It's not necessarily the most popular world for just going out and riding, but it's got a lot to work with if you race. When you talk about Libby and 23rd and Governors, we're racing at reverse out here. They're out on their second lap when you look at the Evolution team. Seregi is the rider that we were talking about earlier, the Hungarian, who right now this is not as much of a problem as it might look, to tell you the truth. If you have one rider that wants to ride this pace on these very steep climbs, the drafting not a huge factor right now. So hopefully things will just come right back together after you make this right-hander,
As long as
because
High
you're
Peaks
heading.
gets back on terms here and
Yeah,
the
yeah,
other
yeah.
three riders, I mean, they need to snowball to bring this back. So if they do have too big of a gap here at this point, these three will most likely snowball, quickly bring it back. So Hagee's got about 6-7 seconds. She'll get back in the fold unless she continues on to just kind of demolish these climbs each time. But I have a feeling this is going to all come back together. There's enough riders here to really get that avalanche happening.
Yeah, and that really is the name of the game, is on these descents here, is you certainly hate to have a rider getting tailed off and then having to chase. And that's sort of the nightmare scenario that we've been talking about. Going back over now. So this is the area where you're right in the middle of it now. This is Graham with the Crush Pod team, Joe Graham, that we're in with.
Coming over the
I
top
think
of the
everybody just,
backside of Libby. This is always a really difficult section. It's probably the steepest section of the course, actually, right there. It's very quick. It's very short, though. And if you can bring enough speed into it, you can kind of just, you can kind of have this roller coaster momentum over the top of it as long as you punch hard enough and you're not in too much of a suffer moment over the back end of 23rd Street. So nice little roll through down Libby Hill and 4 riders left, it looks like, for Crush Pod.
so this is a team, again, going back and looking at the splits right in the middle here, but you can see that they're not far off from Evo Comets at all, just 3 seconds
Evo
there.
Comets, they came back. They brought back 13 seconds. They took 13 seconds out of Crush Pod, actually. They're having a solid ride.
Yeah, between the last two splits, they are really starting to pick it up. This looks like exactly the same as we left them here.
Yeah, Kirby here trying to bring things back. Probably
See,
looking to rein in. There's a little bit of a lasso at this point. Trying to bring Sir Hagee back into the fold.
your Wonder Woman lasso, right? And this should, though, now, because if you're Sir Hagee, you can just ease up on the pedals. You can see that they're just about to start the plummeting descent down Libby Hill here.
Mallet, a little bit of a. I wonder if Sir Hagee's head's just down. Like, I mean, just head down, not even
Blaring the
looking at
music. She's
screen.
listening to AC/DC right now.
Like, oh, sorry, didn't know what was happening. I'm just off the front.
My bad. My bad. You guys okay?
No.
They're back together, though. Look at that. Just like that, as they say. Snap your fingers and you got the whole squad like it never happened. So they are rocking and rolling now. Back with Crush Pod.
Look at
Both
Odd
all
Socks,
the
though. Despa's on the front.
out of this world today.
5-3, 24:53 at the 16-kilometer mark. Thorvaldsen coming on through, 3.4 watts per kilogram. So solid little kick here coming from each one of the riders. As on the back, Watts hanging out at 3.0. Good formation still coming from this team. I have a feeling they've got either a good DS or some good communication. They're all also, the other thing is this team has been
So
doing
experienced.
this for so
Yeah.
long. I mean, they can almost do it with their eyes shut, probably.
Yeah, this would be one of the rare teams where you might say they could get by without a director out here. Everyone should know their role incredibly well. Just A+ job out here
What I
by
want to
Sox
know
for
is if
Watts.
Thorvaldsen is using this for training right now for anything specific. I know she is racing in real life.
I have a guess. So, well, my thought would be that, well, actually, as far as that question goes, Nathan, I don't know. So Tulsa Tough is coming up next week. The Air Force race here in North America really is kicking off for the first time in a couple of years. Oh, let's talk to the pictures here because we're witnessing Sox for Watch nailing back 1 minute here on Z Sun. But yeah, racing is really kicking off this week, Nathan. You're right. I have a feeling Leo must be in the mix for that. Let's see if they can get cleanly by Z Sun, and they are. As a matter of fact, that was textbook pass. You're not going to see it done any cleaner than that. Wow. Good
Well
job by
played
both
there
teams.
by Sox Watts as well as Z Sun. Z Sun Pluto with 26-19. They're battling with the Vegan Bees. So that is a neck and neck battle, actually. Even with the overtake there from the other riders, the 26-19 versus the 26-08, that is still a placing out on course that Coleman, SJ, Silva, Chrono, Secret are all going to be thinking about how far back is that Z Sun team. They've been trying to keep them more than a minute back this entire time. Joanna here coming from Z Sun with, it looks like Labuda. Going to be Shaw, CB as well. So only 4 riders left versus the Vegan Bees. How many do Vegan Bees have? Do they still have 5 on the front, I think? Coleman, it
That's a
looks like.
negligible difference there. Yeah, it is 5.
And that's how it started. They have not lost a single rider between either of these, 4 and 5. Z Sun starting with 4, Vegan Bees with 5. So across the entirety of the race, that one rider will matter a little bit.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, if you think about it, that's almost a 20% difference, right? So yeah, not going to say, but what I guess I should say is at this point of the race, Nathan,
Yeah, if
4
they
or
dropped off a
5,
rider too, if they dropped off a rider. So
right? Exactly.
look at the encouragement coming from Shaw. Annette Shaw, always awesome to see her out here saying, CB, come on, CB with a
Look how it made a
kick.
difference. Yeah,
It
that
did.
definitely inspired CB.
Now she's still got half a climb to go here. A lot of times I'll have that last like a kick to
That
hold on
spurt.
somewhere, and you're like, okay,
Yeah.
one lap, and then that just sends you way over.
Or that's when you cramp, actually. That's when the
Looks like
cramp
she's making it
hits.
happen though.
No,
This
I'm
is great.
impressed. Yeah, well done here. No wiggle room when you've got 4 riders. That's the point where every rider is going to be needed to get across the line. So you really, you're down to that razor's edge.
Yeah, it's going to be Carol Butler coming out of the UK. Is going to be the rider that was being encouraged on, needing to hang on at this point. Level 35, not level 35 Zwifter. It's going to be Carol Butler is a level 41 Zwifter. Looks like she's a rock climber as well.
Huh.
Pretty awesome to see. She is a long time Zwifter, going all the way back to May 19th of 2020 in the SRAM Send It series. That was actually broadcasted, I believe. Pretty cool to see that she was a part of the SRAM Send It series all the way back in May. Australian SRAM Send It series, Australian race that we were
Huh.
promoting. Pretty cool. Butler looks like she's going to be able to hang on because they need this rider with only 4 left. Well, 4 to start with. So
Yeah,
she's
I mean, that's
got a good
brave.
sprint on her. Carol's got a solid sprint on her. The FTP maybe not the forte quite as much. But an Enk Libuda coming out of Germany. Danette Shaw, James Anand, and then it's going to be Joanna
Anka.
Stead.
Anka Labuda. So this is a mix too. It looks mostly Pluto riders, but I see that the South African Danette Shaw is also with the Pulsars. We'll see that in WTRL where let's use like Cryogen or Z Sun, where they have so many, or Sox for Watch for that matter. They have so many different teams that some weeks you'll find out that your team that you normally race with isn't going to be doing this week's WTRL. So you find another team in your family and jump in with them. It works out quite nicely that way.
Yeah, Danette Shaw, she was a rider in the Zwift Racing League for the APAC for season 2 that was talked about plenty with the women's side of things. So always a very strong rider to be watching out for and taking a solid pull here at 4.1 watts per kilogram right now, the South African rider. She's got a solid sprint, 11.66 watts per kilogram for 770 watts actually. So also a very good FTP, 294. This is going to be a leader on this team for Z Sun out of South Africa. Anna, as well as Kate, always highlighting her as a great leader as a part of that
She an
team.
APAC, an
Or
APACer.
APAC. Yep. Definitely
Yep.
in with the APAC. But definitely a name that I immediately recognized hanging out in the background.
The ZRL has quite a few different zones, all the way from APAC to Europe, Middle East, and Africa, the East and the West, and then the Americas. But WTRL is mind blowing with the 14 different zones around the world that race on any given Thursday. This is obviously Platinum League, where we have the top qualifiers from last week's race. So if you had a top 11 time anywhere on the globe, you were invited. And because of the unique situation of global racing, not every team will be able to attend Platinum. Some weeks we get all 11, but
This
this time of year,
rider, I mean, speaking of, I mean, the strength of this rider, um, second place to Jessica Bemrose on the WTRL Zwift Racing League Women's APAC Division One on Whole Lotta Lava in I think that's going to be like race number 6, I believe it was, 6 or 7, and then also the WTRL Racing League Apex Division One Libby Hill After Party, second place to Jenny Pentnan. So I mean, this is a no joke. We're actually beating Jessica Bemrose, I believe, in a sprint to the line. So Danette Shaw, no joke, and surrounded by nothing
she's been,
but the Arrow team when I'm looking at
yeah,
these results, actually. So,
it's her against the arrow.
yeah, pretty much in
Look
those
at the
races.
pole she's taken, Nathan. This has been, she's been on the front for a while here, just setting a very nice, a steady state effort like you
Well, I have a
read
feeling
about
this is who she's thinking about right now. Is this
for
vegan B
sure.
team trying to bring them back some of that time they've lost early on? Well, as you get
And
into
Vegan
the flatter
Bees,
section of the course here, Dave, a stronger rider can kind of shine through this section, right? Because you need the other riders
absolutely.
hang on, work together, right? But then you get up on these flatter sections and you can kind of take some longer pulls, especially in the back end of the race. Okay, it's time to maybe take the brunt of the work.
Heavy, heavy pull. Long, hard, and steady is the name of the game. And that is exactly like SJ is doing here. Just that's beautiful. They're getting down to it now, 32-ish Ks of racing. So most of the teams within 5K of finishing here. Most of the teams also, you can see, with 5 riders, even 4 in some cases. So they have no wiggle room whatsoever out there.
With SJ here, this is going to be SJ Davies. Looks like she rides for the Extreme Bees sometimes. Was in the Zwift Racing League Women's EMEA Division 4. It looks like an 18th place back on May 4th. April 27th as well, taking a 13th in the Zwift Racing League. Good to see. Showing up for a couple of those. Definitely a part of the WTRL team time trial. I'm seeing nothing but. Is this right? This is SJ Davies, I think, has been riding multiple team time trials today as well.
Oh, really?
I think she did Zone 1, Zone 2, and now also in with the Platinum League. Looks like she does that every week.
That's
Amazing.
noteworthy, to say the very least.
Absolutely amazing.
Incredible.
Yeah, so I'm seeing on the same day multiple times here. She does Zone 1, Zone 4, or Platinum League. So at least 2, maybe 3 team time trials a day coming from SJ Davies. This is a level 41 Zwifter coming out of the United Kingdom. 208 races underneath her belt. She's been racing out on Zwift since June 10th, 2020 for the Revo Speedy Sisters. She did that. Always part of the Team Vegan, though, it looks like.
So you're saying since June 10th of last year, so basically a year, she's done 220.
No. Oh, 220 races. Yes, 220 races since then. Yes, sorry. I thought you were going to say something else.
That's 2. That means she races 2 out of every 3 days. That like a heavy schedule for a world tour rider these days is 60, 70 days of racing. So I mean, back in the day, like Sean Kelly would do 100, 120 days of racing, but 220 races. Again, obviously, like on a day like today, she's doing three. They add up, but that's a lot of racing, a lot of capacity.
Here
Very
we go.
impressive
Jeanette
yesterday.
Shaw giving a shout out to CB here at this point. Sorry to change subject though, but we saw the little chat coming on through there from Danette trying to get CB back on terms here. That's going to be Carol. And this is a solid little ride now coming in from Z Sun as they came in with 4 riders. And Carol Butler hanging on. Joanna here coming out of Sweden. Also 175 beats per. I think Danette is just I mean, I think she's leading this out, just saying, come on, everybody, hang on to this wheel at this point, as we need 4 across the line, chasing as hard as they possibly can. It's only a 4-second difference between them and the Vegan Bees, as we can see on the right-hand side of your screen. On the left-hand side, the last checkpoint that we saw had this Pluto team at, what is that, 16 seconds back, but they've definitely brought that back. But the Vegan Bees, they're hovering at this 5-second mark that you can see between these two teams. Do you see that right now, Dave?
Yeah.
Shaw at the front 4.4. The Bees now with Chrono going to the front 3.1, but with it's almost a single rider versus this 5-person team.
Yeah, I mean, and at this point now, that 39-31 from the last split, Crush Pod are right in a sandwich here between Evo and Vegan Bees, where they're pushing to try to get up to the Comets. They got to be aware of the Vegan Bees right behind them. And Socks for Watts, Odd Socks riding at. Well, I mean, it's actually really impressive to see that Evo is as close as they are here. That's only 24 seconds.
It's nothing. That's absolutely
Yeah.
nothing. Any kind of falter here coming in from the Odd Sox, and we've got a whole nother race on our hands. I know there's a lot going on here between all the teams, because the reality is Sox for Watts, they did make a catch here, so they've kind of snuck themselves in between these two teams. Only 4 riders left, though, it looks like, here with Despas and Thorvaldsen. Plenty of firepower on the front here. We've got Watts followed up by here at Madsen. 4 riders, Odd Sox. We'll see if they can continue to walk away with this one. But reality is the back end of this course is pretty flat. And Evo's got plenty of firepower. Now, if I were Evo at this point, you're coming into this final case. And, you know, I would shorten the poles to just kind of go into this.
Keep the speed up. Yeah.
As high as you could. I'd be doing 20-second poles maybe, full gas on the front, and go to the back. Full gas in the front, go to the back over and over again. But it can get difficult, though.
But not every rider can do that, is the problem at this point in the race. You're down to 2 or 3 riders that are doing 95% of the work.
Very true. Very true. With this many bodies, there's opportunities maybe to bring something back here. I would start throwing some caution to the wind. That's just me. You know,
well, this is where you'd sacrifice riders. If you really, really are serious about it, if you have a rider who is struggling right now, you put them on the front and just have them take the biggest pull that they can, and then you say goodbye. You got to start sacrificing if you really, really are looking to eke out every extra tenth of a second here. Having a rider now just dangling off the back doesn't do you any good. If she can muster her effort to get to the front and take a pull, that's a big ask. But at this point now, I mean, here she comes.
Mallet, is she trying to hang on? What's happening there? That'd be the question. They go by the dancing Z. I always love to see.
See, hanging on is really neat. I mean, not a bad thing at all, but it isn't going to be contributing to the team's speed. What we're really looking for is if anybody can come through and do a little extra and take an extra pull right now, that would be fantastic. Again, huge ask. And a lot of times the answer is no, they can't. They're at their limit.
Vegan Bees finishing up their race. Nice effort from them. We'll see how this ends up playing out for the Vegan Bees as they come across the line. Sox or Watts now chasing them down, not for necessarily any kind of battle between the two, but for the battle between themselves and Evo Comets in the women's frappe here out here today. 38:08, 38:24 for Crush Pod. Crush Pod, we'll see if they can bring any time back up against that Evo Comet. It was a back and forth between them because actually Crush Pod had the better time at the first check mark. So Crush Pod fading as the day went on. Odd Sox across the line. see if Thorvaldson let us know if there any racing for her in the real life in the near future. I believe that is going to be a lot of training for her. She's a part of the Pro Peloton, I believe, in real life this year, so it'll be
Yeah,
interesting to see.
yeah. I don't know that she, at this
With the
point now,
on the
things have
domestic
changed
side
so
of things,
much.
I'm not
Well, I
sure.
mean, yeah, I mean, she's not on one of the registered UCI teams now. Obviously, a lot of racers are free agents at this point, with Unbound coming up, formerly known as Dirty Kanza. It really shows
Yeah,
you how it's a
I was at a ride last night, and like half the people, not half the people, but a good number of the riders that I was riding with on the mountain bike had their other bike. Were sitting there ready to go for the um,
Unbound.
Unbound on their way out. Yeah, I wanted to say
Yeah, yeah,
Dirty Kanza, but yeah, heading to the Unbound.
yeah. That a lot of people super excited. So that Soxblots has finished. That's Jane Despus that we're looking at now, just cooling down. Yeah, I have to think that they did enough out here to get the win today.
Yeah, very close racing between a lot of the riders out here. Crush Pod just coming across the line as well in just a moment as we got Laura Newell, Helen Strauber. It's going to be Graham Lascelles. Evo were the other team that they are battling with. It does look like Evo have brought some time back. Again, as you can see with that 53 seconds. So I think Crush Pod, though, it's going to be a little closer than I think that 38:08 and that 38:24. We'll have to take a look at the results as we get everybody across the line. Very difficult course out here today. I have a feeling if we head over to socials, we'll see plenty
Yeah,
of thank yous on those interesting thank yous of what just happened to me. Thank you so much. Type 2
just a picture of a
fun.
bucket is what I'm expecting to see.
Speaking of buckets, I need to
Tough
go
one
get my
out here.
bucket. I'm going to go my
Get your
riding.
bucket ready. Yeah.
Maybe have to double up today as well. We'll have to wait and see. Perhaps get some last minute TTT in. But we see Ride with Peter across the line here with Evo. Nice ride from this team. Let's go ahead and start taking a look at the results as they start coming in. No new course records were being told out here today so far. It'll be interesting to see what kind of times the
Not a big surprise. The last time we raced here, I believe, was July of 2020. If I remember my research correctly.
And on the day here, everybody, we are going to have times for all of the men. On the women's side of things for the lattes, as well as the Vienna mochas. I have a feeling we'll have to wait and head on over to WTRL.racing for the rest of those as they do come in. Evo now across the line. Let's go ahead, and I believe we're going to start having results coming on here. Dave, solid racing today from the Frappe crowd. Up next, though, as we wait for results to come in, let's chat a little bit about playoffs. This weekend, we've got sprint rate, we've got point racing, we've got team time trial, we've got the men and the women swapping off between the two, right? So first, we're going to have a team time trial. I believe men going first, followed for team time trial. Women then with their points race, and then swapping it the next day, the women into their team time trial and the men's on their points race.
Yeah,
Very
we're at that.
lot to, I mean, I think there's just a lot of hype coming on through. A lot of hype, a
I
lot of
can understand.
excitement.
I can understand why. I mean, this is the all-star racing, really. So the communities have been racing for 8 weeks, but again, it's not isolationist, but APAC does their thing to start the day. Then you look at the European, the East and the West, European, Middle East, and Africa, really strong, deep divisions out there. And then our Americas. Now, where the best teams are coming out of, it'll be interesting because there's really we haven't gone head to head with these squads. So this might be the very best racing that we get on the ZRL would be this coming up the weekend that we're looking forward to.
Well, the other thing too, I think, is coming into this season. A lot of organization, I think, was going down to try and figure out what the best setup is for each of the teams to try and get their best chance at that. We also had a lot of depth. Um, I was surprised, to be honest, that the third season, because of the timing in the year, was the largest season. So we had, I mean, there was just way, way more participation. We've got that depth. We were able to, I think, have a lot of discovery. And that's one of the main things when you do have sport like this and it's growing like this, to try and bring people to the pinnacle of the sport. That's one of the drivers that you have in the development of the sport and pushing people toward that pinnacle, that top end. It'll be interesting to see how it plays out. We had a lot of close racing in the first playoffs. It came down to seconds for some of the teams as to whether or not they were able to make it, that because of the team time trial. And that final day, it came down to literally across the line, a few seconds between a couple of the teams. So
Incredible.
it's going to be really interesting this weekend. I'm super excited for that. So if you haven't checked that out, everybody, head on over to the YouTube channel, and you can see exactly what time we're going live with that. However, WTRL.racing as well to see what's all happening with the qualifiers. We do have results here popping in, and in the Vienna Espresso today, WTRL Team Time Trial 111. C-Star Race Like a Girl. They just keep showing up and doing what they do. TFC Vixen 4853. TFC, solid ride for TFC actually. BRT Atomic Kittens then 4909, and then BBB. I actually have. I'm gonna be honest, I don't know who BBB are. Who are BBB? That's what I want to know.
Better Business Bureau. Well, nice job to all of you.
I'll be sending my reports in. I'll be sending my reports in to that team. It's the Better Business Bureau coming out of Zone 8 actually. So.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that's
They must have just raced
through. That has come through actually.
Huh.
So interesting enough to see here. Let's go ahead and head on over to our frappes. As here's the times coming on in. All platinum league at the top here, Dave.
Yeah, it was an enjoyable race to watch, that's for sure. As you can see, Sox for Watts, the odd Sox with a 50.01 will take the gold. It's Evo Comets 50.53, very close, 5 seconds ahead of Crush Pod. What a battle that was. Great racing, ladies. The Vegan Bees with the 52.39 going to slot in at 4th. Z-Sun R Pluto, got to spend some time with them today. That was awesome. 52.43 their time in 5th. The R3R Spice Girls will take 6th today. And in 7th are the Sapphires from WMZ. They were racing out of Zone 1. You can see our top 5 times right now all came out of the Platinum League here.
I'm going to go ahead and refresh this real quickly, and then we're going to head on over to our no data available, actually. Here we go. All right, into the Dopios. I'll come back to the women's lattes, or the Vienna latte, as well as the Vienna Mocha. I want to make sure we get a few more times in for them, though, and give them a little more time to finish up on the day. But it's going to be the Cryogen Kestrels and the Doppio for the men there, 42.06. Evo Warriors, 15 seconds back there with the 42.21. Z-Sun Red Giants come on through for third place in a 42.54. On the River Blur, 43.05. Innovation Euro Aliens Kryptonite there in fifth, 43.09. Vision with the 43.28. Followed up by Z-Sun Hercules, 43.55. And then 8th place, Alpha E Racing. Plenty of Dopios out there today. Solid racing all around. Platinum League only taking down 3rd and 4th, actually. So, Zone 1 really showing up today.
I'm surprised 42.06 was not a course record. That's incredible. TSZ Waffles with the 43.13. Going to get it done for the espresso class and take the win and the gold medal that goes with it. Congratulations to the Waffles. Cryogen Goals taking the silver medal with the 43.30, and it was 8 seconds quicker than the Down and Dirty. They're back to Vipers. That's good to see. The world is back on its correct axis with the bronze medal there for the D&DVs. And then you've got the 4th place going to Eat Dirty Steamers. 5th is Dirt Diggler. 6th place today for our espressos going to Team CLS Dynamos. 7th is Evo Espresso. 8th, Herd of Platypus. 9th place, Vegan Vipers, and Team CLS Cyclones round out our top 10 fastest times. Only 4 of those coming out of Platinum League so far today.
And in with the frappes, it was the Time Chasers with some beast mode guest rider. It looks like 44.44. Only a little ways behind. It's going to be the Aerodynamics there, 44.52. Evil Warlords coming on through with a 45.02. Z-Sun Saturn there, 45.14 in fourth place. R3R ACDC. That was the battle we were watching. It was between Kirchmer, R3R, and Z-Sun Saturn, and it played out for Z-Sun in the end. That's 4th, 5th, and 6th. Team CLS B52s in 7th place, followed up by Electric Spirit Company Last Word in 8th. It's going to be Adam Racing Team Photons with 9th, and Evo Vortex coming on in for 10th place. That is the Frappes currently after finishing all the way through Zone 9, it looks like, actually.
Let's take a look now at the lattes here and the Vikings in full effect. A 47 for the win for Vikings Valhalla. It's the RR Woolly Rhinos taking the silver medal with a 48.09 and a 48.40 for Dirt Time Chasers of the Megas and our bronze medal winners. Team Type 1 Lancettes for 4th, Z-Sun R Venus in 5th, Eat Dirt 2 in 6th. It's the Vikings Molnir in 7th. These are the fastest times so far today. CryoGen at Piwaka Waka. It's good to see you in 8th fastest time, WMZ3. There are 9th and CryoGen. The Emus round out our top 10. You can see it's mostly Platinum League with a couple of our Zone 1 teams putting up great rides today.
And something I'm being told, a little bit of a data off there on the right hand with the time back there. See if you can get we can get an update from WTRL. But we do have the correct orders here. 55.40 there coming on for RR Sumatran Riders. Valhalla Drag Vandi there, 56.15. Z-Sun Nebula only 1 second back in the Mochas there, 56.16. Spooky Blokes there, 56.39 for 4th place. Engulf, 56.58 in 5th. Coming out of Platinum League. CryoGen Robbins there flying in for 6th. It's going to be WMZ4 in 7th, followed up by TBR M8 there in 8th. TFC Hurricane in 9th. And Giant Camden living on a prayer. Here coming on through for 10th place. I'm loving the name. I'm going to do a quick reload here. Head on over to the lattes. And it was Crash Pod 2 at the top there for Vienna Latte.
Yeah, Nathan, they rode a 53.23 to achieve that gold medal winning ride for the Vienna Lattes RWBSH for silver medal here. 54 flat was their time. It was close all day long in the Platinum League. A 54.11 for Z Scott Alba taking the bronze. 4th place in Vienna Lattes is Atom Racing Team Electrons. 5th is Evo Meteors. 6th is the CryoGen Roadrunners. 7th is Tugas Brisas. 8th goes to Tugas Ferrofias. All right, that's your top 8 times so far today coming out of Vienna Latte. Back to you for the Viennas.
Looks like we've got Vienna, Mocha here actually coming on in for Platinum League as well. Good to see they were finishing up, and it's going to be England Momentum 55.34. HDR Cupcakes coming on through for 2nd there, 55.50. Live by Cycling, always great to see them representing out there, coming in for 3rd. What a ride from them there. Z-Sun Quasar there for 4th. Kirchner Vienna Latte in 2, coming in for 5th. It's going to be Rave C Euro for 6th place, followed up by BRT Inferno Kittens in 7th. WTRL Drafting Dinos in 8th. Rockies in 9th. Angular Speed in 10th. This is actually pretty close here in that top 6th and 7th actually for the Vienna Mochas. Great to see tight racing here for the women in that Vienna Mocha class there. And next week, WTRL TTT 112, Sand and Sequoias, 2 laps, one of the classic courses. Absolutely love it. We will be covering the lattes. Make sure to check your emails. We will be watching out for you for some featured teams. So make sure to check that out. And we will get you in on the broadcast. Well, Dave, number 111 done and dusted for us today. Still a few zones to go out there today. I may be jumping in tonight. But it's a nice day out
I'll
as well.
check your Twitch.
Sounds good. Well, you got to get some sleep. I hear you're heading out to do some in real life racing. Well, you're not racing. I don't know. Are you racing?
I'm not racing. Actually, yeah, it's more of we're raising money for, if you know Phil Guyman, you've heard of No Kids Hungry. And going to go out with our friends. Yeah, it's going to be awesome. We're going out to Cliff Bar's Winery in Napa to get some folks together, ride bikes, raise money for No Kids Hungry. And yeah, I mean, if you think about it just fundamentally, Nathan, I know you do so much good work, and we always have the charitable angle on things here at Swift Community Live. So I'm happy to mention No Kids Hungry because it's as simple as making sure that kids are getting food, and
Heck
it's the
yeah.
least we can do.
Cookies?
Yeah.
Lots of Phil cookies? I don't know, I'm just messing with you.
No
I'm just messing.
promises. No promises. But hey,
I did my 100K or whatever. I'm getting my cookie from Phil, I'm pretty sure
you
too.
earned
But
it. You
anyways,
earned it, no
sounds
doubt. And
absolutely awesome though what you guys are doing. Say hi to everybody, and it'll be a great time you guys are having out there. It sounds like for a great cause. All right, everybody,
thanks,
thanks a lot for
Nathan.
tuning in. Check out the playoffs this weekend. I'll be here with Anna Russell. Everybody have a great rest of your Thursday and Friday. And as always, great job to the racers. Check out the rest of the results at WTRL.racing and ride on.